70-week prophecy. Before Moses arrived, none of us knew the specific events described in the Genesis account. On top of the Mount Sinai, God spoke to Moses, revealing to him everything that had happened since the beginning of creation. As well as Gabriel, God's messenger, appeared to Daniel, the prophet, to reveal God's plan regarding mankind. That plan will become clear in this 70-week prophecy. Daniel learns that the end of Israelite servitude is imminent, according to 70-week prophecy of Jeremiah the prophet. Consequently, he becomes extremely concerned about their redemption and begs God to be merciful to his people. But God's intention for the 70-week prophecy was different. The prophet Daniel's 70 weeks prophecy commences where the prophet Jeremiah's 70-week prophecy ends. The Israelites are proclaimed free by Cyrus the Great, who also gave them instructions to go back to their ancestral homeland and rebuild Jerusalem temple using funds from his treasury. That is where two prophecies connect. The prophet Jeremiah foretold the future captivity and the imminent release of the Israelites. Daniel was present when the Israelites were in captivity, and it was in the book of Jeremiah that he discovered the 70-week prophecy. Then he began to ask God for things and to pray. However, it is now our job to interpret the prophet Daniel's 70-week prophecy. The final 4 verses in the 9th chapter of Daniel's book include the complete 70-week prophecy. The prophecy's opening verse is something like the lion's gate that we enter. That verse enumerated 7 crucial elements that covered God's plan for the entire era of mankind regarding sin and redemption. Number 1, to finish the transgression. When one person, Adam, sins, it is akin to rebelling against God. That puts an end to the rebellion because of another individual named Enoch. He walks with God and is raptured into heaven by God. A strained bond with God is restored. This occurred in the first millennium. The entire scenario above is comparable to the light in the darkness that existed on the first day of God's creation. Number 2, to make an end of sins. For the wages of sin is death. As a result of eating the fruit, Adam's progeny proffered disobedience in front of God, which finally caused them to perish with the great flood, except Noah's family. Then we are all aware of what transpired, because there was no alternative. How awful is sin? This occurred in the second millennium. This entire situation is comparable to God creating boundaries between elements on the second day of creation. Number 3, to make reconciliation for iniquity. The alternative for rescuing mankind was coming in here. The God's law, which provides atonement, gives everyone the opportunity to atone for their sins. This occurred in the 3rd millennium. The genesis of life is about trees and nature. On the 3rd day of God's creation, He is comparable to the entire situation. Number 4, to bring in everlasting righteousness. Death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? These verses will be a thrill of joy to hear or read. These words are a miracle in human history about redemption. Who enabled this triumph? Our Lord God Jesus Christ. This is the only way available to us for salvation. This is God's righteousness, which will endure until the end of the era. This occurred in the 4th millennium. The Son of Righteousness, moon like the church, and the believers as stars on the 4th day of God's creation can all be compared to this entire situation. Number 5. To seal up the vision and prophecy. And from the days of the John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. In the name of the church, heavenly birds are arriving and constructing their nests, which welcome many bad spirits. Currently, they are still. Around the 6th century, there was the emergence of all of the old religions and faiths, an event that had never happened before or since. All religions ever created have a biblical essence at their core without Jesus Christ. Why is this the case? Satan invented fictitious methods to control mankind by misusing Bible prophecies. For this reason, the prophecy and vision were sealed during this period of time. This occurred in the 5th millennium. The happenings of different mediums on the 5th day of God's creation can be compared to this entire phrase. Number 6. To anoint the most holy. Following his resurrection, Jesus entered the most sacred place, and his bride was also caught up unto God, unto his throne. This was called by rapture. This will happen in the 6th millennium. The only thing that hasn't happened yet is this. But it could happen at any time. This whole situation can be compared to the emergence of human as intended by God on the 6th day of God's creation. Number 7. The holy city. When New Jerusalem, the city of God, is founded and comes down from heaven, then Jesus Christ's 1,000 years reign on earth will begin. This is God's plan for humanity to enter his eternal kingdom with everlasting life. Only those who have been sealed by God can enter through the door of Jesus into the New Jerusalem of God's kingdom. This will take place at the second coming of Jesus Christ. This will start with the 7th millennium. It is possible to relate this entire circumstances to the 7th day of God's creation, eternity, or God's rest. We can comprehend God's magnificent plan for human redemption by considering the 7 major events that were previously discussed. This demonstrates to us the enormity of God's love. He poured out his only Son's life for us because he loves us so much. In exchange, what do you offer? Through the angel Gabriel, God revealed all of this information to the prophet Daniel beforehand. So, the Daniel got to know their people thoroughly. He laments knowing that the people for whose sake he has begged God will despise and crucify the Messiah. How terrible it is! And they will be saved only when they arrive in New Jerusalem, the city of God, at Jesus' second coming, as well as Prophet Daniel employing mathematical vocabulary to describe to us what would happen in the coming verses.